Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out to this unconventional, but probably now conventional delivery of the coaches meeting. It's as I was saying to Hugh, it's going to be a bit different than what we've normally done in the past. We're going to highlight some stuff just around this year in terms of COVID and some new things that we brought in. And then we're going to task all the coaches to just go through the coaches package themselves. So Amanda, if you want to get us into the first slide. So yeah, thank you for volunteering this season. We know the last year and a half to 2 years has been challenging, to say the least. So we're really appreciative of everyone still volunteering their time and being a part of the league and really enabling children to be able to play and to kick around and forget about what they've experienced for an hour at least for the last year and a half. So thank you. If you have any questions after the presentation, feel free to email Saskatoon Youth Soccer, your zone or community coordinator. The email to send any questions to would be info@saskatoonyouthsoccer.ca. And the phone number is there, 975-3413. Okay. So just to start with some of the COVID precautions and the wellness and hygiene. So all participants, this is what we brought in the last year and a half. All participants are supposed to self-monitor for symptoms. Stay at home if you're sick and seek a COVID-19 test. The Know Your Risk checklist that we provide can help you with that personal assessment. And people who are fully vaccinated are no longer considered a close contact at this point in time. I should mention or asterisk that anything regarding COVID and the precautions or anything that we have in place right now is kind of a working document and subject to change at any point. So I just want to say that up front as well. So I'll get back to this. All persons entering the facilities are to practice good hand hygiene before and after soccer activities. So wash your hands often, use hand sanitizer, and just exercise good cough and sneeze etiquette. So into the elbow, that sort of stuff. There are sanitizer stations throughout the facility, so everyone's encouraged to also bring their own, whether to have on the sidelines or in the car for after. So this is, we've added a new thing for the COVID, and that's around the vaccine mandate. So all SYSI players who are 18 years of age, as well as all team personnel, so head coaches, assistant coaches, junior coaches, trainers, instructors, technical directors, gender reps, managers, and so on, need to be fully vaccinated, so including the 14-day period after receiving the second dose by Tuesday, October 12th or earlier. So players who are turning 18 during the season must be fully vaccinated, including the 14-day period after receiving their completed dose on or before turning 18 in order to continue playing. So any of those coaching at the U19 level, I think we've reached out to the zones and they know that they need to be contacting it and tracking this. Sorry, Kevin, I saw your question. I'll get to, I guess, questions at the end, but thank you for putting those in. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat or save it at the So no negative testing. In order to alleviate additional administration on volunteers to lessen the burden on the provincial testing system, SYSI has decided negative testing shall not be an option for those who are not vaccinated. It's just, it becomes a bit too tedious and cumbersome to try and monitor all that every time. So we've opted for the vaccine mandate. Zones and community associations are to verify vaccination documentation for all team personnel and any players who are over the age of 18 or who will be turning 18 years of age during the season. So once a vaccination status has been verified, there's no further need of retention of such records. I think that's on a personal level. I think the zones will need to be tracking it, and the community associations will need to track that. So game sheet procedures for U11 and U19 teams. So this is also somewhat new. Team personnel in U11 and U19 and players who are 18 and older will need to provide the referee a piece of photo ID prior to playing to verify identification. This is to ensure all those who are required to be vaccinated are who they say they are and are listed properly on the game sheet. Exemption application, pardon me. So if a person is unable to receive a vaccination due to medical condition or other grounds protected by applicable provincial human rights legislation, the participants may seek application with SYSI to attend without proof of vaccination. However, SYSI may refuse to grant the request with conditions such as masking, testing, and social distancing. At this time, SYSI players aged 17 and under are exempt from this mandate. So this is also new. SYSI has just been notified that the Saskatoon Soccer Centre Incorporated, so the management company for both facilities, will be implementing a proof of vaccination policy for spectators. So details and dates of implementation are being determined at this point and will be announced later. So mask mandates. Masks are required for all persons entering the soccer facilities, for the exception of players or referees while on the pitch. Masks remain an option during activity for anyone who feels more comfortable using a mask. Then all patrons must provide their own masks or purchase one at guest services for $1. Team personnel are required to wear a mask on field at all times, regardless of providing proof of full vaccination. Players on the bench or sidelines are required to wear a mask while not actively engaged in activity on field. So I think that one's a big one to highlight, those two, because I know there might be some confusion, but essentially, if you're not playing on the field, you need to be masked. U19 teams, as a result of the mandating a proof of vaccination policy for the youth players age 18 and older, the adult mask mandate for players 18 years or older has been removed while actively engaged on the pitch. Players who are unable to provide the proof of full vaccination will not be eligible to play until they do so. The mask mandate remains in effect for all players of all ages on the sidelines, bench, including those 18 and older who have provided proof of full vaccination. Social distancing, not something new, but something that we should be practicing because we're very much still in a pandemic. So social distancing on the sidelines and during breaks and play as much as possible. No handshakes or high fives, including after the game. I know what we were doing in outdoor was doing the 3 cheers, you'd socially distanced, and then we would just come to half or whatnot and just clap for the other team. No sharing of water bottles, and physical distancing is encouraged within all areas of the facilities, including but not limited to seating areas, the main foyer, and the mezzanine levels. So what are the facilities doing? Additional cleaning will occur in public and high traffic areas, washrooms and mezzanine areas, much like it was last year. The soccer center is committed to providing a healthy sports environment. Our indoor facilities are equipped with mechanical ventilation systems designed to provide fresh air throughout the buildings. As well, as mentioned earlier, sanitizer stations are available throughout the facilities, but people are also encouraged to bring their own. The use of dressing rooms right now is being used. So designated dressing rooms and showers are available no more than 30 minutes before the game, but absolutely no changing on the fields or in public areas. So please vacate the dressing rooms post-game within 20 minutes or at the request of the soccer center staff. So games, all U5 leagues and U11 19 city leagues will start from October 12th and run till around March 20th. And the schedules will be online by Thursday, October 7th, so tomorrow. Final matches, first versus second for U13, U19 city leagues will be held on Saturday, March 19th, 2022. U11 and U19 Alliance leagues. So those start October 12th to November 15th, our exhibition, and will be online by Thursday, so tomorrow. The remainder of the schedule will be released in November to allow for transfers of players or teams to be placed in appropriate divisions. Final matches for the Alliance leagues will be held on Sunday, March 20th, 2022. Check your schedule. Please contact SYSI if you notice any errors or discrepancies. So one thing I will say, I know a lot of organizations are using either Snapchat or Team Linked, but please always check the website too. That one's always going to be correct or should always be correct throughout the season. Nothing new again, but reschedules cost $30 and require a 15-day notice prior to the date in which the game is scheduled in order for a reschedule request to be considered. Practices, the zones or community coordinators will provide you with your team practice schedules, and those will be finalized, I think, shortly. So game sheet procedures, this is there's some new elements to this. So we'll just go through this as well. So game sheets, the U11, U19 game sheets will be printed for teams from RAMP and will be located at both soccer facilities at the member and guest services, formerly admissions. So team personnel from the home team will be required to collect the game sheet prior to the game and provide to the referee a minimum of 5 minutes prior to the game. Teams will need to cross out any players and personnel listed but not in attendance. As well, all players and personnel in attendance but not listed on the game sheet will need to be written on the game sheet by hand. Permit players need to have a P listed next to them on the game sheet. That's nothing new. What is new is photo ID verification. So team personnel of U11 through U19 teams and players who are 18 years or older will need to provide the referee a piece of photo ID prior to the start of the game. This is to ensure all those required to be vaccinated are who they say they are and are listed on the game sheet. RAMP registration for team personnel. So all team personnel must register through RAMP prior to their first game. Zones found with unregistered team personnel not registered in RAMP and the bench or game sheet may be fined $100 per ineligible coach. So new reporting scores starting this season, the home team is responsible for entering the game score into the RAMP website within 48 hours of the conclusion of the game. So this is new. This is to ensure all game stats are kept up to date and any disputes are dealt with in a timely manner. Team personnel will need to take a photo of the game sheet prior to leaving the field, as you will be required to upload a copy of the game sheet as part of the procedure. Please see SYSI's game sheet reporting procedure for a breakdown of the steps to complete reporting of the game score. Teams will need to contact their zone for their team login, which will be provided to the zones as early as October 7th. Referee no-show. If a referee does not show up, both teams agree on a referee, and the home team hands in a game sheet to the member and guest services staff after the game. Scheduled start times. Players are to be at the field no earlier than 10 minutes. This might be a bit inconsistent because we did say that the change rooms will be available 30 minutes prior, but regardless, we're trying to limit the contact between people. This is what we had in place prior. So players are to be at the field no earlier than 10 minutes prior to the game or practice time. Teams must stay in their designated dressing room. So again, the 30 minutes or off field area until their scheduled start time. If games are running late, the halftime break shall be cut short first, and then the halves, depending on how late you're running. Try having a static warm-up stretch in the hallway or dressing rooms as you're waiting to get onto the field. Please, please, please stay off the track. It's a city track. It's not ours. So teams and their equipment shall be off the field prior to the end of their scheduled hour so that the next scheduled booking can start on time. Okay, so referees. Games without a referee for whatever reason must get played or both teams forfeit. If a referee does not show up, the home team hands in the game sheet to admissions after the game. Again, it's decided upon by both teams who will referee the game. Field marshals, each team in the U11, U19 must name their field marshal and have that person sign the game sheet. The field marshal is to stay on the second level in the spectator area to help alleviate any spectators from abusing referees. General feedback received from this program has been positive from teams and referees, with the note that the verbal abuse has decreased from spectators but continues to come from players and coaches. Coaches need to lead by example. So just a reminder too that within, I think, the last year or two, FIFA has introduced that coaches can be carded and dismissed from the benches. So just keep that in mind as well, please. Mentorship. SYSI encourages all teams to fill out the online referee evaluation form, and not only when you have a complaint, but when they're doing something great too. Referees need encouragement. I know we always tend to dwell on the negative. So when they get to hear something great, it's a good boost for kids, especially, well, no, it's for everyone, but especially at the younger ages when they're being told, and those who are first starting out when they're being told that they've done something well, it's such a boost in their confidence. So please, if you can, take the time to send something in if it's a positive experience as well. So team requirements: proof of vaccination. All team personnel are to provide proof of full vaccination, including the 14-day period after receiving their completed dose, to the zone or community association coordinator by Tuesday, October 12th or earlier. Criminal record checks with vulnerable sector check as well. All team personnel from U5 to U19 are to provide this to your zone or community association every 2 years or more frequently as determined by the association by Tuesday, October 12th or earlier. Ramp registration, again, all team personnel, U5 to U19 who will be on field or on the bench must register online through Ramp as a registered team personnel by Tuesday, October 12th. Respect in sport online. This is mandatory. It's free online. You need to renew every 5 years on this one. So check with your community coordinator, check on your profile as well. The National Coach Certification Program, minimum 1 coach per team, U7 to U19, part 1, part 2. Also, making ethical decisions, 1 coach. This is a cost, $50 online. I think these NCP, National Coach Certification Programs, are like the age requirements So like if you're doing active start age group, you would do the online portion and then the on-field module after. Making headway online, a minimum of one coach for U15 to U19 teams, and that is free online as well. So there's a link at the bottom of the screen if for more info on any of these as well. Awesome. So optional coach training right now, keeping girls in sport training, $17 online. I think SSA has made it free for the next little bit. So you can click on that link and double check, or you can check the Saskatchewan Soccer website, and also Commit to Kids, which is $12. And it's for coaches online training, which empowers coaches with practical information to help them enhance child and youth safety in sport. It highlights the importance of understanding boundaries, sexual misconduct, and reporting inappropriate behavior. Keeping girls in sport, highly encouraged for those who are working or coaching co-ed or female teams. So the tournament list, as of right now, the Aurora Open Cup has been canceled. The Cisco Boys and Girls Premier Tournament in January has been canceled. Right now, Hollandia Off the Wall is still running theirs. Lakewood Just Kick It Cup in February, SUSC tournament in February, and Mini Cisco at the end of the season, March 18th to 20th. Provincials. So 6-a-side indoor youth soccer for life championship this year is held in Saskatoon on March 4th to 6th, 600 per team. The 9-a-side youth soccer for life championship is held in Regina a week later, and it's 700 per team. Entry forms are available on SAS Soccer with entry fees made payable and submitted to SYSI, so Saskatoon Youth Soccer. Forms and deadlines will be posted on the SYSI website when the information is released by SAS Soccer. Again, just a reminder, all team personnel must register on ramp for the indoor season by October 12th. Or if you're a new coach being added to the team for the provincial competition, you must be registered on ramp prior to the provincial roster deadline. Ensure your team meets necessary coach certifications and gender rep criteria specific to provincials, and those are all available at the Saskatchewan Soccer website. All the requirements for the tournaments are there. So coach package items, this is what's included in it, so please have a look. There's some very important ones. Actually, all of them are very important, but SYSI's rule of 2 policy, please read that over. We look to achieve the gold standard as much as possible in all these situations. There's the SYSI abuse and safety policy, soccer center facility rules, so things like not having Gatorade on the field, just water. Soccer center parking map where you can park. Just a reminder, when you come into the front of the soccer center, to the left is all reserved for school parking. So please don't park there. You will be ticketed. Field maps, performance fines, and the reschedule process, which we've touched on. Fair play codes, the game belongs to the kids campaign, the field marshal program, which we touched on, medical forms, first aid lists, insurance, and emergency plans. So everything in terms of that. Important season dates, tournaments, deadlines, coaching courses, all that sort of stuff, coach certification requirements, and much more. So please have a look at all of that. So this is the homework. Like I said, please review the coach package. It's very important. Review your team's age applicable rules of the game. So we've broken it down by age group, and that'll be on the website as well. So if you're coaching U5, The rules are there. Review your schedule, please, and notify SYSI of any discrepancy or reschedule requests. So please look at that as soon as it's available, and let us know if there's any errors or any requests, because we do run tight on space and times as the season progresses. Ensure yourself and the rest of your team personnel have completed the necessary criteria to be eligible part of the team. So vaccination records, CPICs, all your coach education courses, and please review the fair play codes of conduct with your players and parents at any of the player meetings, the parent meetings, and fellow team personnel. So again, thank you for volunteering. We know not an easy time to be navigating anything, and so anytime that enables the kids to get out and play and enjoy the game of soccer is fantastic. So thank you so much again. Any questions again after this, if we haven't addressed it in the meeting here, you can send questions to info or call that number. So I will open up the chat and just have a look. So wondering why that isn't 12 and up. I'm assuming that's the vaccination mandate. If you get a chance to address that, cool. So yeah, I think the reason for that is Amanda, I think if you want to jump in here, you might know a little bit better why we haven't mandated 12 and up. But I think it was just to be in line with what the province, the BRT, and adult soccer were doing. Yeah, again, things like that could change depending on what comes out from the government going forward. So I'm not sure if that answers it entirely, but that's a great question. Thank you. Is a player card pretty much the only photo ID available for U11 to U15? So you could use a driver's license, soccer ID, or passport. Yeah, because I think we got another one about player card as well. So why isn't vaccination proof required from all eligible people instead of those just 18 and older? I think I touched on that a bit. Again, no, I think the way that the board decided to go in terms of looking at the adults in the sphere of it. So yeah, the policy was determined by the SYSI board upon consultation with all zone boards. At this time, the policy does not include players who are 17 and under, as recreational sport and leagues are exempt from the provincial mandate for those businesses who are to implement a proof of vaccine policy. So hopefully that answers those questions. Do we go online to get our coaches package, or how does it work this year? Yes, it is online on our website. Coach rules, all of this is in the chat as well. Will games after November 15th be on the same days of the week as games October to November? So yes, I mean, the idea is to keep the same game nights. Now, if teams are being moved around or players are being moved to a different division, then their game nights might move. But as it is right now, everything is kind of set on those game nights. Again, something to be aware of, though, is that we do have to use some weekends to get all the games in at points in the season. So just be aware that you might have games, let's say your game night is a Tuesday, but you might have games on a Sunday or a Saturday. Yeah. Will pictures of ID be accepted or originals required for the game? So pictures of ID, we can check on that one. I know with adult soccer, they don't take pictures of it. It has to be the original, but we can check with the Referees Association. Are there any other questions that anybody might have that we haven't addressed here right now? Is there an alignment period for the city league? So right now there isn't, but it could be that, you know, if something is extremely I guess misaligned, then we will have to look at adjusting that for sure. That's a great question. I think originally the idea was that the teams would be balanced and it wouldn't need to be done, but I think that was the same with the alliance. So I think if there's extenuating circumstances, then we will be looking to adjust those two. Where do we send our proof of vaccination? So again, that would be to the zones. You would contact your zone or your community association and your community coordinator. I would imagine with the zones, the registrars will be taking the proof of vaccination. How will they be monitoring spectators coming in, checking vaccination status? So that is, that's a good question. That is going to be something that the soccer center will be addressing and announcing details on. So once we have those details, we will let everybody know. Terry, no, that's a good question. So permitting from City League to the Alliance League is doable. There is, like adult soccer, there's a limit on it, and so that'll be tracked. But if you're permitting within the City League, I think it's you can do it as much as you want. So is it just kids 18 and over that need a picture ID? So proof of vaccines is sent to your zone or community association. Check with them as to who it should be sent to. But yes, 18 and older right now. Presentation will be shared. Yes, we will be sharing this. That's why we've recorded it. Amanda, I don't know, are we posting it on the website or are we sharing it with the zones themselves and they can distribute it?
Dan will be putting this presentation on the website. We'll add it right to the main article about the coach night itself. Okay. And we're also going to be emailing it to the zone so that they can forward it on to their team personnel.
Yeah. So yeah, Kevin will be uploading the rules with the schedules tomorrow too. Yeah. Good. Our schedules released to the zones when the schedules and the schedules for the rest of the season show up. So that's a good question. The zones will be we'll be meeting late October, early November to see if there's any realignment needed. Other than that, it'll be the first week of November is when we'll release the rest. All schedules will be up starting tomorrow on the website. Gino, you would talk to the zone registrar, or you can go, I believe it's on coach.ca in the locker to find out when your expectant sport is valid or is coming up for expiration. Great questions, everyone. Thank you.
And the indoor rules are available on the website right now. They are
Oh,
up
they are,
there.
okay.
The age specific for indoor are right there.
Oh, right. So Kevin, yeah, we have the outdoor ones, but they're not hyperlinked. All the ones that are hyperlinked are on there. Any other questions? Again, if you don't have any tonight, you you think of some, please contact the office, info@saskatoonyouthsoccer.ca, or the number 975-3413. For U11 and U13, it's 5 per team for tile games.
Can you say that again? I missed it.
Sorry, it's 5 per team for U11 and U13 Alliance League.
There is a question just asking about C license training, if it's being offered soon.
Okay. Yeah. So that's something that we can look up. We generally have that.
It says the next course will be offered in the fall of 2021, so SSA hasn't posted any additional details on that quite yet. So as soon as we do know when there's going to be another C license course, we'll be forwarding those details to the zones, and we'll also be adding them to our website.
All right, so it doesn't look like any more questions are coming in right now. So we can bring this to a close for tonight. I apologize that there were no corny jokes. Normally I'm more prepared, but I promise I'll come back stronger next year. So thank you everyone for coming out and attending the meeting. And again, this will be posted on the website and distributed to the zones.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
Thanks you.
Okay, signing off.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amanda. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
welcome. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan.
you.
Thanks, Amanda. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon.
Good night.
Take care.